Throwbacks B103. What a pleasure. Like, I just saw you, a couple weeks ago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and you're back.
That's right, of course.
Man.
I mean, it's good to be back. Beyonce, thank you for your leadership. I'm sorry, Beyonce Foxx.
There you go, because we don't want to confuse it with the other Beyonce.
Right. There's only one Beyonce Foxx in Chicago, and I'm really honored to be here. Thank you for your work over the years. I've really been a fan, honestly. Your entire trajectory has just been inspirational to so many people.
Thank you so very much. It was good to have you here. You know, Father's Day is coming up this weekend, Sunday. And, Mayor Brandon Johnson, I have to say this. In our communities, unfortunately, a lot of fathers are absent in the home. I was blessed my entire life to have my father in my home, my mom and dad. And I'm not sure about your circumstance, but you are definitely an excellent father to your children. Let's talk about this, because every year around this time, there's this battle of, Mother's Day, moms get everything, and we talk about Mother's Day for 18 months leading up to Mother's Day. But when it comes to the fathers, it truly is a different dynamic and a different narrative. But you're here to talk about a Father's Day initiative. What's that about?
Yeah, well, that's what you said it. I mean, look, the role that fathers and men have in the lives of children, the roles are not only essential, but with every single indicator of a child's development and success, there are links between fathers participating in their children's lives and their academic success, their sort of purpose, being able to discover that earlier. Children are less likely to find themselves on a pattern of delinquency. And so for me, I grew up with a father who was he's a man of his generation. I'll just say it like this, that my father was a cross between, James Evans and
Good Times.
Yes, Good Times, right? And maybe George Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Just because, he, raised 10 of us, during the Reagan era, right? So, life was tough, but he also had ambition. And so at one point he had purchased property, and the whole goal was to pass that property along to us, but ran into some challenges with the city and made it very difficult for him. But now, as a father, I've taken those life lessons that my father instilled in me of just showing up primarily, being available, being attentive, and showing up in my children's lives. It's really been the joy of my life. But I will say, as a public school teacher in Chicago, I also saw where those gaps were with young people who did not have, regular engagement with their fathers. And this initiative that we are putting forward with the city, with the support of the faith community and the business community, being led by my administration, is really to highlight what fathers bring to their children, but to the community as a whole. But also, what do fathers need to better show up for the families?
There it is. There it is. So walk us through this. What is it exactly? What does it entail? Is it a series of programming?
Yeah.
What is it exactly?
So it's a number of things. So one of the things that we will be doing throughout the summer, black men, black fathers in particular, will be showing up at a variety of parks throughout the city of Chicago, just showing up in the neighborhoods, knocking on doors, talking to residents about ways in which they can further engage, but also what those needs are. And as fathers show up in the neighborhoods to discuss these needs, it's incumbent upon my administration, along with the business community, the philanthropic community, to respond to those needs. But we're also going to take just a little bit of time, this week, where we're going to have a panel discussion with fathers who have done this and who are doing it. But really the discussion is going to be around the mental health and well-being of fathers. It's been a real challenge for black men in particular, having faced so many different barriers, and as a result of those barriers, unfortunately, trauma has set in. And again, as I said, my father is a man of his generation. It was difficult for my father to open up and really express where his disappointment lied. And unfortunately, for too many fathers, they sometimes pass that sort of closed offness to the next generation, where a black boy you know, at the age of from 5 to 3rd grade, they're told for that entire development, that time of their development, to stop crying. Boy, what's wrong with you? And then when they get to 6th grade and they're not talking anymore, we're fussing at them. How come you ain't saying nothing? Say something. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so we send these mixed messages and these mixed signals to our black boys, and we're going to have an open discussion around how fatherhood can help black boys express their vulnerabilities, while black men get an opportunity to learn, in some instances, stronger behavior and responses to our children.
And where's that panel going to be?
So, we're gonna. This is great. So we're getting a great deal of support from Kevin Warren and the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna. All these fathers are going to take over Soldier Field, and
are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay, what day is this?
This is going to be on Thursday.
Okay.
Right? So that's Thursday. What is that day?
Wow.
Thursday.
It's Thursday, June 13th.
That's right. And so it's going to be a complete takeover. We're going to provide some other, activations and support for the fathers who are going to be there. But
Nice.
The longtime Chicago and stand-up comedian Damon Williams is going to be there with us. Many of your listeners probably are familiar with Corporate. I believe he's slated to be there as well.
Nice.
I'm going to be there, the mayor of the city of Chicago.
Of course.
Right? And so there are a number of other people that we're still working on that will be there. I believe DJ Farley is going to be there as well.
Yes.
So it's going to be an exciting time. I mean, look, the beauty of fatherhood in this moment is that our children are challenging us to be better fathers anyways.
Absolutely.
So my youngest, my daughter, she'll be 10 in a couple of weeks. During the pandemic, right at the end, as we were preparing to send them back to school, my daughter and I were having this back and forth. So I'm in an argument with a 7-year-old, which is already pretty jacked up. You can tell the difference between my parenting style and my father's parenting style, because there's no way my father and I would have ever been in a back and forth.
Okay.
In fact, I still say yes, sir, to him. He come in, I'm the mayor of the city of Chicago, and he walk in the room, and I stand at attention and salute.
Same, okay, no games.
But so we're going back and forth, and she stopped and interrupted the conversation, Beyonce, and she said, Dad, you're triggering me.
Oh my.
I know, exactly. I wanted to say, little girl, you talking about triggered, you know what I'm saying? But I thought, never, right? But I thought about how powerful that was when she felt safe enough that I'm her first line of defense. I'm her first example of authority.
Yes.
And she felt vulnerable and safe enough to say, look, this don't feel right, Dad. So we got to figure this out. And it's that type of experience that I'm learning with parenting and being a father in this particular season. How do I create spaces for my sons and my daughter to be empowered to even challenge authority? Right? Wow. Because there's a difference between, let me just be very honest and vulnerable here. When other people raise their children, they let them do as they wish and please, as they work to express themselves, to find their voices. Where we work hard to contain, which to some extent I understand because the rules apply differently to our children, right? So, you can't just, be in society, as they would say, wilding out. However, our ability to help our children learn to freely express with parameters their full selves, and giving them the confidence to be able to challenge feelings, to be able to challenge systems around them, to ultimately build better systems for us, right? So that's something that I'm really excited about. And this Father's Initiative is not just, I shouldn't even call it a Father Initiative. It's just a state of being. Because, one of the things too, though there are some real data around single mothers, particularly black mothers, there's also some real data around how black fathers actually show up more for their children than their other counterparts, even when they're not in the same home. There's studies and data that actually proves that black fathers in particular actually more engaged than their counterparts, even though they may not be in the same home. Right? So we're going to highlight that and lift that up, and we're going to have a good time doing it. It's a great time really to be a parent. In fact, if I can just send out a special plug here, I don't know if this is going to hurt my political career or not, but I'm encouraging people to have as many black babies as possible.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, look. I know my communications director is going crazy now. But look, the fact of the matter is that our full expression for liberation has always been through our hope and aspirations, and our hopes and aspirations have long been through the lens and the experiences of our young people.
Absolutely.
And there's a real opportunity for us to help lift up a generation with, you know, people like myself, Gen Xers,
Yeah.
you know, who learn from baby boomers, but also we figured out, you know, other ways in which we can engage young people and our children and show up for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Mayor, before I let you go, I want you to give an encouraging word to those black men, these young fathers out here who are trying, but the circumstances of life just keep knocking them down. What do you say to them?
Yeah, you know, that's real. You know, I've had a number of my students now who were 12 and 13 when I had them in 7th and 8th grade,
Yeah.
and now they're 30. You know, life has a way of humbling us, and I believe that being a parent is one of those elements that allows for humility to set in, and that even with the life circumstances and the challenges that black young fathers in particular are facing, the best way in which we can work through those challenges is by showing up for your children in ways in which others should have shown up for you.
There it is.
And that's, put your arms around your child. You can't kiss your babies enough. I will go one step further, and I know this is going to upset everyone who helped raise me. I don't believe you can spoil a black child. Love them, hug them, show up for them, and the person that you might be co-parenting with, and there might be some rub there, just be humble enough to recognize the life experience that they've had and whatever challenges that they've experienced, and sometimes they bring that into the relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't allow that to be a barrier to show up in a way that someone else could have shown up for you.
Awesome. There it is. Okay. Thank you. Mayor Brandon Johnson, this Thursday, June 13th, Soldier Field is the place to be.
6 o'clock.
Open to the public?
It is open to the public.
Okay, come on. Let's fill up the
I want
stadium.
to see all the black fathers in the city of Chicago. Let's just take over the field, and let's have an exciting, great time doing it.
Thank you, Mayor Brandon Johnson. And happy early Father's Day to you.
Thank you very much.
We're V103.